Hi all, AD here from Hans St John's. As always, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today I'm in deepest, darkest Sussex and I found this church on Google Maps called Wiggonholt. Beautiful, really rural, really small. It says on the sign up there that there's been a church here since the 13th century. So let's go and have a look.
I think the setting of this church is absolutely stunning. It's one of the most atmospheric, peaceful places I think I've been to. It's tucked away just under 2 miles southeast of Pulborough, and it's close to the River Arun, and then just further down that path there is the Pulborough Brooks wetlands, and that's an RSPB site. There's no real village here, just the open countryside, and this tiny church has stood here quietly for over 800 years. Wiggonholt Church is a Grade 1 listed building, recognising its exceptional historical importance. The main structure dates from the 12th to the early 13th century, which makes it a wonderful example of a small medieval Sussex church. And unlike many churches, it was never expanded into something grand, which the Victorians like to do. There's no stone tower, instead it's just got a modest shingle bell turret which rises at the west end. And stepping in here feels like stepping back in time. It really does. There's no electricity, so the video is going to be quite dark, and the church is still lit by these beautiful oil lamps and candles. So you can imagine how warm and atmospheric it must feel if you did attend a service here. Now the font here is 12th century and it's carved from Sussex marble, and it was probably redone, the base of it, in the Victorian times. And you've got these beautiful pews. The stained glass windows at each end are from 1859, and they're from a company called Powell Sons. But this window is slightly later, and that adds a beautiful colour. And you've also got the prayer boards here, and this is very typical of 19th century interiors, as these used to serve as visual teaching tools at a time when obviously literacy wasn't universal. And it's got a couple of bells there, which kind of is all it needs for such a small little church. What's really special about Wiggonholt Church, it's not just its age, but it's really how little it's been altered compared to many parish churches. It's got a single cell nave and chancel, and you can see the old tie beams above me there in the roof. The simple windows and that intimate interior all speak of continuity. It's one of those places where you can sense centuries of worship, community gatherings, baptism, marriages, funerals, and they're all quietly threaded through this building. Now the parish itself has been linked with the nearby village of Greetham or Greatham. Don't come at me if I've pronounced it incorrectly, please. But, since the early 1500s, but more recently with Parham, reflecting how rural communities evolve while still keeping their roots. And there's one of those beautiful old tie beams. The pulpit there and the lovely pews are all from the 19th century, and I just came up here to give you a closer look at the beautiful oil lamps. And you can see the candle holders over there on the wall as well that are used to light up this beautiful little church. And if you like musical instruments, you might want to pause this here. It was quite interesting, the harmonium. I don't know anything about musical instruments, but if it's your thing, then please do pause and have a bit of a closer read of that. Sad to hear though that the mice are eating all the insides of them. And this east window came from White friars, as I said earlier, glass works of James Powell Sons, and the window's unusual because it has this diamond design with just one central picture of Jesus Christ walking on water. This lovely Bible that had been donated from Joseph Buckley, who was the rector of, I can't quite make out what the parish was, but it was on the 8th of October 1872. Really nice, and great that they had a little light there so you could read it, because it is so dark in the church. And then as we head back out of the church, you'll see on the pews here some handmade kneelers, and they're created more recently by members of the church community, and each one is slightly different, and they're a lovely reminder that this ancient building is still a living place of worship and cared for by those who still use it today. And in Betchworth Church, there's a whole booklet, and they've recorded every time somebody embroiders a kneeler, it's recorded in this book, so it's really interesting. I'll have to do a video from there soon. And I'm just going to have a quick look round the churchyard and around the outside of the building. There isn't actually that many graves that you can still read. The walls of the church are typical of the period where they were constructed with a stone facing outside and then infilled with rubble and had a lime plaster inside. But due to subsidence, you can see it on the wall there, the south and west facing walls had to be underpinned in 1877. And that's a more recent grave. And then over the back there is the rectory. It's amazing, such a huge substantial rectory for such a small church. And you can see there under the window where some more underpinning took place. And the two bells, one from the 13th, one from the 14th century, would have been suspended up the top there and rang from the churchwarden's pew that we were in earlier under the window. And that round section would have contained a sundial, which obviously they used to tell the time long before, well, when it was time for Mass, long before clocks were commonplace. And I just spotted down here that there is a bricked up old doorway. So that would have been the north door. I couldn't find any information about when it was bricked up, closed up. And then you'll see directly underneath, you can see the beautiful wooden beams of the roof. Aren't they beautiful? For me, what makes Wiggonholt Church extra special is its quiet sense of continuity. There's no grand tower or busy village around it, just open countryside, and a church that has stood here for centuries, largely unchanged. The medieval walls, the 12th century font, and I can only imagine the soft glow of oil lamps and the sounds of the bells from that small turret, connecting all the generations of people who have worshipped here before. And inside, the Victorian stained glass, the prayer boards and the hand-stitched kneelers show how each era has gently added to the building without overwhelming its original character. This place, I think, encourages you to slow down, notice the details and the way the light moves across the floor and through the churchyard. And I just love the stillness that surrounds it. It doesn't need to impress us, it just simply endures over the centuries, adding to a sense of peace and timelessness in the Sussex landscape. And it has this beautiful, I'm not sure if it's just a drainage ditch or if it is an actual stream. Beautiful, just adds to its quaintness.
Sorry that wasn't a very long video. It was a tiny little church. I'm sorry it was really dark because there's no electricity here, but absolutely charming in the middle of nowhere. And I met the most beautiful couple, married 63 years, 87 years old, and still going for long walks. There's a nature reserve down that way, so they had just walked up from there. Absolutely love some of the people I meet when I'm out doing these jaunts. Is fantastic. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, please do like and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Even if you only watch, it really helps the channel out. If you want to help it a little bit further, there's the Buy Me a Coffee link down below. And also this church does take donations, and I'll leave their bank details down below. It's just started to rain, just on time, perfect for me, just as I'm about to leave. So as always, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you for the next one. Might be a haunt, might be a jaunt, all depends.